In the confrontation, one person was shot and killed. No officers were injured in the incident. The victim has not yet been identified, but an autopsy is expected to be completed this week. Back to you, Zach.
Thanks, Sydney. Sydney Chisholm reporting from outside the Nouveau Hotel. We will have more on this story next Tuesday on SAIT News File. Albertans are now starting to receive the COVID-19 vaccine, but there are still many concerns about the distribution and who is getting the jab. The province's distribution deadlines are not being met, but as Prina Atwal reports, there is still encouraging news about spreading out the shots.
Alberta is extending the time between first and second doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. Starting March 10th, any individual who books a first dose will have to wait for their second dose up to 4 months. Previous bookings are not included in the regulations and they will still go forward as planned. Some people have concerns about the delays, but Alberta's top doctor, Dr. Dina Hinshaw, says this approach is the best way to go.
We've seen research from other jurisdictions that indicate one dose of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine offers a huge boost in immunity, with Canadian data indicating around 80% protection against infection after the first dose.
Hinshaw says stopping the spread will become more effective once every Albertan receives the first dose. She does say, though, it is still important for Albertans to receive the second dose. Alberta Premier Jason Kenney says the province is not at fault for missed deadlines on delivery of shipment of the vaccine.
The reality that the federal government has not kept its commitments to date. They have missed every single timeline for delivery of doses by an order of magnitude.
Kenney says the government of Canada has put Alberta in the position of being 45th in the world to receive vaccine doses.
All I can tell you is that Alberta Health Services is ready and able to inoculate hundreds of thousands of Albertans per week if and when we get critical supply.
Whether the Alberta government's new vaccine rollout is effective will be found after the distribution starts on March 10th. For SAIT News File, I am Prina Atwal.
Our Alberta numbers have yet to be updated, so we're taking a look at our last known count, coming from March 3rd. As of yesterday, there were 402 new cases reported. The province has over 4,500 active cases, with 251 people in hospital and just under 50 people in intensive care. The Calgary zone does have the highest active case count in the province, sitting at just over 1,600. An Edmonton pastor being charged with violating COVID-19 restrictions will appeal his bail conditions today. Grace Life pastor James Coates has been in jail for 2 weeks. Coates was charged with violating Alberta's Public Health Act. Officials say the church has been holding services that break the public health orders on attendance, masking, and distancing. RCMP said even with its pastor in jail, Grace Life continued to have services beyond its designated capacity. Coates' trial will start in May. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected all small businesses in Calgary, but the Buffalo Cafe has another issue on their plate. As Haley Shirkey reports, the cafe has until April 30th to vacate their building.
This cafe is chock full of history and people who love breakfast.
The atmosphere here is great, the food is awesome, and it's just got a lot of memories here.
The owners of the 1886 Buffalo Cafe were recently told by the City of Calgary they have 90 days to vacate the building after 40 years of business. The cafe is located in the Eau Claire Plaza, where the city is planning a major revitalization. The owners have known about it since 2017, and they were in full support.
All of the development plans that we were shown had our business moved closer towards the river. In their plans, the building wasn't titled Historical Site. The building was titled with our business name, 1886 Buffalo Cafe. So we have always been under the impression that our business would be moved with the building.
In 2018, the cafe was put on a month-to-month lease because the city did not know the extent the construction would have on the business. Then there were several back and forths, but when COVID hit, everything got pushed back. The owner of the cafe says they will relocate if they have to, but they would prefer to stay in the same building that they've been in for the last 40 years.
The response that I got was, I've been meaning to call you. I'm so sorry, but we're going to have to ask you to vacate in 90 days. That is where the word blindsided comes in.
Now McLeod says they're not sure what will happen. She started a petition to try to keep the cafe open.
Meeting good friends and colleagues and business associates for breakfast for years here.
For State Newsfile, I'm Haley Shirky.
Being a victim of fraud can happen to anyone, regardless of age or gender. The Calgary Police Service and the Better Business Bureau are teaming up to educate Calgarians on scams and fraud. Fraud Prevention Month happens every March for the past 17 years, but this year is especially important. Last year alone, Calgarians reported losing more than $3.8 million to online scams. That's a huge increase from the $2.2 million lost in 2019.
Of our top 10 scams, online scams represents a third of the total scams. And so we are definitely seeing the data suggests an increase in scams.
To check for misspelling in emails, suspicious links, or payment requests that are not secure. Time is running out for the greatest outdoor show on earth, the Calgary Stampede, as they try to determine whether to go ahead with their events. As Haley Carter reports, planning for the Stampede has to start now if they want to be ready come July.
First time in its 108-year run. It was to the dismay of many avid Stampede goers.
Didn't get to watch any of the cattle stuff. I love the cattle stuff. I am a farmer after all, so I didn't get to go and watch all the showings and any of the auctions or any of the stuff going on.
Even with the AHS regulations, Nielsen is still holding out hope that he'll be able to enjoy his favorite attractions this year.
Possibility, I really highly hope that there is, because, you know, getting out there to go see everyone go do all the rides, like, come on, you can't do the Stampede without doing a couple rides.
The cancellation of last year's Stampede left them with a revenue loss of $26.5 million. Even though there are no words yet if the Stampede will be able to go ahead, the planning process starts months in advance.
Definitely planning for the 2021 Stampede, knowing that we want to create the best and safest possible experience for our community. And with that, knowing that our planning needs to include some flexibility, some adaptability.
Other events that look to still be up in the air are events like Folk Fest and Calgary's Global Fest. But regardless of the pandemic guidelines at the moment, the Calgary Stampede still has to be prepared come July. So you still might be able to enjoy your favorite attractions at the greatest outdoor show on earth. For State Newsfile, I'm Haley Carter.
Calgary Transit announced today that it will be suspending 13 routes throughout the city due to low ridership. The suspension of the routes will last until June 25th. Calgary Transit says they will reevaluate the rider rates and demand to decide when to restore the service. It was reported that ridership levels are 25% of what they were prior to the pandemic. Calgary Transit has been searching for solutions to reduce costs since the pandemic began last spring. There are a total of 13 routes being suspended. Areas ranging from Hidden Valley all the way to City Centre have all been put on hold. Riders are encouraged to frequently check the Calgary Transit app for more updates. Calgary's animal adoption service is now under new management. ARCS has taken over from the city in a 3-month pilot program. Stray animals taken to animal services will still receive medical attention, but after the legal hold of 3 to 10 days, the animals will be taken to ARCS to be adopted or placed with a foster home. The use of foster homes to hold and/or rehabilitate an animal before adoption can greatly affect an animal's mental health, as well as its disposition toward other animals and people.
When she first came to us, she was a little bit aggressive, only that she was excited because she wasn't socialized well, so she was a bit aggressive. But you know, after a while with us, she became even more and more relaxed.
ARCS has more than 800 foster families in the province. Each are ready to give a pet's temporary home before they place with their new forever families. SAIT's oldest alumni, Clarence Hollingworth, turned 106 years old yesterday. Hollingworth has a close connection with SAIT as he was both a student and an instructor. He enrolled in the electrical engineering department, and following his time as a SAIT student, Hollingworth enlisted with the Navy during the World War II. He returned to SAIT to teach for 28 years, earning an honorary degree. Celebrating such a milestone is an important moment for the family.
My grandfather has been a pillar of our life, and this is just such an honor to be able to celebrate such a special occasion with him and have what we can in this odd time, as much of a celebration as possible.
Growing up, Hollingworth lived just north of SAIT when the campus's Heritage Hall was being built. Well, I'm sure he would have some amazing stories. Those are today's top stories. We'll have your full forecast after the break, but first, Ty Rothermore has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
The Let's Roam Calgary Scavenger Hunt will help people discover all the best sights and hidden gems in downtown Calgary. Lace up your walking shoes and get ready to experience Calgary like never before. Also kicking off today is Art is a Conversation. Find out what the artists at the Burns Visual Arts Society have been up to during the pandemic. If hanging out with royalty is more your speed, then be sure to make your way over to the Calgary Zoo for the King Penguin Walk and get up and close with our royal waddling friends. Also on now is the Art and Nature Virtual Museum Classroom, where you can learn all about the natural environment of Alberta's foothills and make some art too. Then Plain Jane Events and Hotels Live are putting on the first ever Disco Magic Drag Show. Private VIP balcony suites are available now for you to enjoy a trip back to the late 1970s where disco beats ruled the dance floors. Also on this Saturday at the zoo is Locked Zoo Penguin Pursuit. Explore the zoo and solve penguin puzzles.
She is stronger. She's more confident. She's happier. Because of your compassion. Because of your support. Because of your care.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is Broadcast News. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT News File. Let's take a look at the weather on the west coast of Canada today. As you can see, that there's a high pressure system coming in from the west that's creating some warmer temperatures throughout the province. In clear skies and sun across the west coast, except in Vancouver, where it's perpetually raining internally. The coldest it gets in the west coast is in Winnipeg at 3 degrees, and that cold trend continues as we look down the east map, as there's a low pressure system coming in, creating some cooler temperatures. Montreal only reaches a high of -6, which is quite frankly nothing compared to what Canadians regularly go through, so hopefully they're okay there. Then in St. John's, they can expect some precipitation with some flurries later on today. Hopefully that their drivers handle that better than we do here in Alberta. Now let's take a look at the resorts. Things are bright and sunny in Palm Springs and 23 degrees. If you think that's warm, wait until you hear that there's a high of 28 in Barbados and Cancun. Off the west coast in Honolulu, the sun is shining bright and hot. In Disneytown, it's partly cloudy, but still plenty warm with a high of 25. Lastly, in Vegas, things aren't quite as hot, but still better than what we have. As mentioned off the top of the show, the temperature, the high today in Calgary is 10 degrees with mainly sunny conditions and 15-kilometer-hour winds coming. And then later on tonight, it'll be partly cloudy and clearing. And now let's take a look at the map of Alberta. We have that low pressure system, or that high pressure system going through the province that I had mentioned earlier, which has been creating some pretty warm temperatures for this time of year. The further down south you go, the warmer things get. As much as I've been enjoying the 10 degrees high in Calgary today, I have to admit I'm pretty jealous of Medicine Hat and Lethbridge with their extra 5 degrees that they have on us. That's got to be really helpful with getting the process of the snow to melt. And now let's take a look at the 5-day. Tonight, it'll be a low of -7 and partly cloudy. Tomorrow, there will be a high of 10 degrees and a low of 1. Over the weekend, things won't get quite as nice, but we'll still be seeing warm temperatures with a high of 8 Saturday, and then on Monday we'll have a high of 5 degrees. Now let's take a look at the ski report. If you're thinking about hitting the slopes and heading out to Nakiska, you can expect variable snow with a 120 centimeter base and sunny skies, and the temperature is minus 18, which is the same across the board at all the other resorts. Save for Mount Norquay, where things are a little bit warmer at only minus 10, a base of 127 centimeters, groomed snow, and cloudy skies. In Sunshine, all 11 lifts are open, but only 134 of the 139 runs are open. And on Saturday, it's expected to snow, so there'll be fresh powder to shred. Lake Louise has packed powder and a 148 centimeter base. Over the weekend, there'll be flurries, all lifts are open, and 157 of 160 runs are open. Closest to home at Windsport, the snow is groomed, the temp is cold, partly cloudy with a small base of 36 centimeters. Finally, at Marmot Basin, the snow is packed with a base of 128 centimeters, and it is partly cloudy.
Welcome back to State News File. The Flames have been playing inconsistent games lately. Sarah Jones joins us now for a look at the latest highlights. Sarah, what's going on?
Well, the Calgary Flames returned after a 6-game road trip to take on the Ottawa Senators. State News File's Garrett Steffen sets up tonight's matchup at the Scotiabank Saddledome.
Flames fans are hoping for a better outcome tonight.
This is probably some of the worst hockey I've seen this team play in a long time. And I don't think you've seen Flames hockey this bad since probably the twilight years of Jerome and Mika.
For the 4th time in 8 days, the Calgary Flames will see familiar faces as they go head-to-head with the Ottawa Senators. After a lackluster road trip which saw Calgary pick up 5 out of a possible 12 points, the team is hoping for home ice success.
The Calgary Flames look to bounce back after falling 5-1 to Ottawa on Monday night. Forward Milan Lucic says it's going to take a whole team effort.
The whole message is it's easy to blame someone else. It's easy to point fingers at other people, but sometimes you got to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, did you do enough? Did you bring enough? Are you working hard enough on a day-to-day basis?
The Flames head coach says the team needs to pay attention to the details of the game in order to put themselves in a good situation.
Well, it starts with work ethic and preparation. So, we talk about it all the time. If you don't ante into every game with work ethic and compete, you don't have much of a chance in the game.
Players to watch in tonight's matchup: for Calgary, Milan Lucic. He has found some confidence this season against Ottawa, and you can guarantee he will be ready to play. For Ottawa, keep your eyes on Drake Batherson. He's been in and around the net for all 3 games, collecting 4 goals and 1 assist. Puck drop is 7 o'clock from the Scotiabank Saddledome. For State News File, I'm Garrett Steffen.
Well, the Flames aren't the only ones in Alberta facing losses. The Edmonton Oilers have played their last 3 games against the Toronto Maple Leafs and haven't been doing too hot. In the first period last night, the Leafs came out fast. Hall passed to Spezza and a quick backhand to Vesey and a sneaky score for the Leafs. Into the second period, Vesey doubled down with a shot coming up fast against Smith. Barry takes a wide shot to bring the puck down. Russell makes the pass to Hopkins. He sees the opening and he takes it, bringing the score to 4-1. William Nylander, look at them go, getting that score. William Nylander makes up fast with a minute and a half left in the period, giving the Leafs that 4-point lead once again. And into the third, a bit of a mess here with players crashing the net, but giving Zach Hyman that final goal for the Leafs. That final score ended up coming out 6-1 for the Leafs. Not Edmonton's best job, but the Leafs played a tough defense throughout. Mike Smith did end up blocking 26 shots during the game. Edmonton is in for another tough matchup with the Battle of Alberta taking place on Saturday. Capitals forward Alex Ovechkin is in hot water after last night's game against the Boston Bruins. Ovechkin has been fined $5,000 for spearing Bruins rookie Trent Frederick. A quick stick to the family jewels took Frederick out in the last 5 minutes of the third period. Man, oh man, a fatal blow for my dude. He's got a few days to recover, though, as Boston plays Washington on Friday night. The LA Lakers went head-to-head against the Sacramento Kings last night. The Kings kicked off the game with their regular starters, but it was a different story for the Lakers with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Marco Gasco all sidelined. Montrez Harrell got all the assists and finished with a flush. Jared Dudley came up with the steal and brought it down the court. A quick pass to Alfonso McKinney, and with that easy layup into the fourth, Lakers down 2. Schroeder shoots it off with a off window with a foul, bringing the Lakers into the lead by 1. With 30 seconds to go, Harrison comes up with a reverse layup, and with 1 shot to spare, Kyle Kuzma shoots a 3, and the buzzer ends the game with the ball falling just short of the basket. Lakers came up short by 3, and the Sacramento Kings bring home the win. With the loss, the Lakers fall to the number 4 seed in the Western Conference, trailing the Clippers, Suns, and Jazz. The Chicago Bulls and the New Orleans are a pretty evenly matched game last night. Zach LaVine started off his warm-up with a wicked one-handed throwdown as he's preparing for his first ever All-Star game this weekend alongside Zion Williamson. And he shows us right here why he deserves to be in this All-Star game. Coming down the court and going strong to the rack, bullseye. Daniel Gafford jumps to make the block, but it is no match against Williamson. Looking at it again in slow-mo, it's almost embarrassing for Gafford having an extra 2 inches over Williamson. Into the third, LaVine uses that screen and puts up an easy basket for the Bulls. Bulls take the game 128 to 124. Overall, the Bulls sit at 15 wins to 18 losses, and the Pelicans now match up with 15 wins to 19 losses. Pelicans are ranked 11th in the Western Conference, and Bulls are 10th in the Eastern Conference. Pelicans play again tonight at the Miami Heat at 6:30. Pitchers Ross Stripling joined the Toronto Blue Jays last year, coming from the Oklahoma City Dodgers, and says that the Jays have developed a strong team going into the season.
To be a part of, and finally, long-winded way to answer your question, man, we're right there. When I first showed up, I was kind of saying like, hey, we're going to be sneaky good. And then you walk around this locker room and it's like, no, we're in your face good. Like, we're going to have a silver slugger hitting in the 7-hole, Teoscar Hernandez, or 8-hole, right? I mean, that's a power lineup.
The Jays finished today's spring training game against the Detroit Tigers in a loss of 2-8. The Jays play Baltimore tomorrow. Gosh, what a hard word to say. The Los Angeles Dodgers faced off against the Cincinnati Reds yesterday in the preseason game. Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer signed a 3-year contract for $102 million last night, and he's since been laser focused ever since yesterday's spring game against the Reds. He struck out 2 batters in 2 innings of work. Right-hand hitter Landon Knack, a 5th-round pick in the 2020 draft, gave up trying 2-run home runs in the 7th inning. The game was a bit of a slow roll, with both teams coming out with a tie. The Dodgers play again tonight at 6 p.m. against the Chicago Cubs. Well, let's say this kind of relates to sports. LeBron James didn't show up in yesterday's game, but you know what he is showing up in? Space Jam 2. Nearly 25 years after the original release, LeBron James is filling the large shoes of original Looney Tunes Bala Michael Jordan. Lace up and get the popcorn ready, and the movie is set to be released in July. That's sports. Back to you, Zach.
Thanks, Sarah. Well, hopefully by that time the theaters are opened up and we'll be able to go see that movie. Coming up after the break, find out how people have been spending their time outside this winter. We'll be right back with more News File.
So good. I had my own car, great grades, everything in my life was going great till I ruined it all. Little did I know, this would be my greatest mistake. Drunk driving. Lawyer fees, disappointed parents, lost car. If only I listened.
Hey, you aren't good to drive home.
Friends don't let friends drink and drive.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is Broadcast News. Come and dare to be on air.
While many Albertans are trying to escape the cold winter, some like to embrace those below zero temperatures. Simone Wagner talked to cross-country skiers about how others can join in on the fun.
finding time to do activities outside in the winter can be challenging, especially nowadays with the restrictions due to COVID-19. However, all over Calgary, activities like the Nordic Loop in East Village have made it possible for Canadians to have fun while also social distancing with others.
Yeah, just being outside, and especially with the new weather change, being in the sun, and especially with COVID too, we can still hang out with our friends outside and laugh and fall.
If cross-country skiing isn't your thing, there are lots more winter activities to do and more places you can go around Calgary and in Alberta.
We go to like normal skiing, we go skating and hiking, dog walks. We go to Noseville quite often. We like going to Kananaskis recently as well. There's like a bunch of fun stuff around there.
And as it gets warmer, more people are encouraged to go outside.
Just get out there and do it, I suppose. We've got like loads of time on our hand right now, so just go to your nearest rental shop, rent some skis, some skates, do anything, get out there. May as well. Winter's only going to be here for a while, so.
So go on out there and enjoy the winter fun while you can. For State Newsfile, I'm Simone Wagner.
Our producer wanted to surprise us with this video on our show, so we're going into this blind, so just bear with us for a moment. But let's take a look at what she's given us. We have about 25 seconds, so we gotta talk lots. I'm speechless, honestly. He's unbelievable.
I am too. That's pretty incredible. I wonder if he's going to be on the next Post Malone album.
Maybe we should be talking to Dr. Dre about getting him his own album. Like, he's obviously good enough.
Absolutely. We'll have to get him in studio to do an in-studio interview.
Absolutely. And maybe he can teach me some dancing lessons as well, because I obviously can't dance that good either.
No, yeah, me neither. Nothing on the scale of that. That's just unmatched.
And I mean, the fact that he's a goat, probably on a farm, probably getting no teaching, like, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, just natural skill.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with more Newsfile.